A straight-from-the-shoulder message for Dog the Bounty Hunter from his daughters.
I'm disappointed in you, and my mom would be too, and you know it.
Dog the Bounty Hunter made it his life's mission to track down fugitives until he became one himself. Duane. Dog Chapman went from being behind bars to hunting down those who should be, earning fame and redemption along the way. But just when it seemed like Dog had turned his life around,
Our early days on Dog the Bounty Hunter, people on Twitter and on Facebook started writing messages to me. They were stuck in a bad relationship and their boyfriends were beating them.
he suddenly vanished from the spotlight. What made him disappear? And what really happened to the world's most famous bounty hunter? Join us as we uncover the shocking truth behind Dog, the bounty hunter's disappearance. An adrenaline junkie, Dog first captured national attention in 2003 when he tracked down Andrew Luster, the Max Factor Cosmetics heir who faced charges of sexual misconduct and tried evading trial. That high-profile capture brought Dog into the public eye, showing the determination of a man who made it his life's mission to track down fugitives. Soon after, his exploits began appearing on documentaries and television specials. Each chase added to his growing reputation as one of the most fearless bounty hunters in America. By 2004, Dog and his family became the focus of their own reality TV series, Dog the Bounty Hunter, which ran on A&E until 2012. The show took viewers inside the adrenaline-filled world of bounty hunting, following Chapman, his wife Beth, and their family as they tracked down those who had skipped bail. Every episode delivered suspense and insight into the unique bond that held the Chapman family together. Amidst the chaos, fans grew attached to the people behind the missions: Dog, Beth, and their children. However, behind the cameras, Chapman's life was far from simple. By the end of the series in 2012, two of his sons decided to quit the family business, leaving Dog to continue his work in new ways. After Duane Lee Chapman II and Leland Blaine Chapman abruptly quit,
How do you know he cheated?
My mom confided in me. My mom confided in us. She loves my father with all of her heart, and she wanted him to change, like we wanted him to change.
rumors of clashes, disagreements, and long-standing frustrations bubbling over began to swirl, and it wasn't far from the truth. Behind the scenes, the family struggled to navigate personal relationships while keeping the cameras rolling. Adding fuel to the fire, the Chapmans hit another major roadblock: contract negotiations with A&E. Efforts to secure a 9th season reportedly stalled as the family and the network failed to reach an agreement. However, they found a way out. He and Beth eventually launched Dog and Beth. On the Hunt on CMT from 2013 to 2015, documenting more high-stakes chases and exploring the challenges of helping troubled individuals navigate the law. In 2019, the couple starred in Dog's Most Wanted on WGN America, a final chapter in their television bounty hunting journey. Now, fans have begun to wonder, over 13 years after the original reality show ended, where is Dog the Bounty Hunter now? Behind the scenes. The story behind its cancellation is far more complicated than fans ever realized. Even as Dog the Bounty Hunter disappeared from television screens, Duane Chapman didn't vanish. He and his wife, Beth, continued sharing their lives with fans on other shows, including Dog and Beth, On the Hunt, and Dog's Most Wanted. The cameras followed them as they carried on bounty hunting, chasing fugitives across the country. Yet even amidst the adrenaline and adventure, personal struggles continued to shadow their lives. In 2017, a terrifying diagnosis changed everything. Beth Chapman, Duane's partner in life and work, was diagnosed with throat cancer. For 2 years, she battled the disease while still appearing on television. Fans watched as Beth faced unimaginable pain with a smile on her face, standing beside Duane as the reality they had built together began to fracture. Tragically, Beth lost her battle on June 26, 2019. She was only 51 years old. The timing of her passing carried a haunting sadness. Beth died at 5:32 that morning, the same time she usually woke up to go hiking. But she wasn't alone during her transition, because at that exact time, she was surrounded by family, and Dog was there, holding her hand. Everything changed after then, and Duane decided to slow down, but the story actually didn't end there. He eventually shifted his focus to social media, frequently posting videos about bounty hunting and engaging directly with fans. He's also launched a Cameo page and appears at speaking events, keeping his voice alive for the public even as the high-octane arrests have quieted. In 2022, Duane returned to TV in an unexpected role, competing on Season 7 of The Masked Singer, showing a different side of the legendary bounty hunter. But it was not just television. His personal life had also taken dramatic turns too. 2 years after the heartbreaking death of his wife, Beth, Duane found love again with Francie Chapman. Their bond began as friends, both having lost spouses to cancer.
Our day to be ruined by this nonsense.
He's in puppy dog love, and that's fine. I want him to be happy. Of course I want him to move on.
Yeah, of course.
But neglecting his life
and soon evolved into a deep romance. Chapman told the news press in 2023 that God had brought them together at a time when they were at the most broken point they had been through in their lives. The couple briefly lived in Colorado before relocating to Marco Island, Florida in 2023, where Francie says they've been focused on starting to build community and get plugged in. Now, Chapman and Francie are documenting their fresh start on Instagram, sharing glimpses of life in Georgia as they build a new chapter together. Beyond family and television, Chapman and Francie have poured energy into their DOG Foundation. The organization provides housing, counseling, life skills training, soul healing, and intervention services to victims of trafficking. We provide compassion and healthy structure that encourages victims to become thriving survivors. The Foundation's website explains, reflecting Chapman's lifelong drive to make a difference off-camera. While Chapman's public presence has shifted, fans often ask, where are his children now? The irony of life. Over the years, Chapman has fathered children with 6 different women, creating a household as colorful and dramatic as any reality TV show. But recent events have cast an unimaginable shadow over the family. From the death of his daughter Barbara in 2006 to the passing of his wife Beth in 2019 following a 2-year battle with throat cancer, Chapman's family life has been marked by heartbreak alongside public triumphs. Now, with the tragic loss of his grandson, the reality of grief has struck once again. Despite the pain, Chapman continues to remain a public figure, sharing glimpses of family life, his work in bounty hunting, and efforts to support victims through his DOG Foundation. The foundation focuses on providing housing, counseling, life skills training, and intervention services for trafficking victims, reflecting Chapman's enduring commitment to helping others even in the midst of personal tragedy. Tragedy struck yet again on July 19th when one of Dog Chapman's stepsons, Gregory Zecca, was involved in an accidental shooting that claimed the life of his 13-year-old son, Anthony, at an apartment in Naples, Florida. Authorities later described it as an isolated incident and confirmed that no arrests had been made at the time. Heartbroken, Chapman and his wife, Francie, issued a statement to TMZ, calling the loss incomprehensible. We are grieving as a family over this incomprehensible, tragic accident and would ask for continued prayers as we grieve the loss of our beloved grandson, Anthony, the couple said in a statement. Anthony was the son of Francie's son, Gregory, leaving the Chapmans grappling with grief amid their already complex family web. For a man famous for hunting fugitives, Duane Chapman wasn't always on the right side of the law. So, What crimes did he commit? The shocking crime of Duane Chapman. Duane "Dog" Chapman was born in Denver, Colorado, into a household marked by both strict discipline and turbulence. His father, Wesley Duane Chapman, a Korean War veteran, worked as a welder before becoming a bail bondsman, following in his son's footsteps. His mother, Barbara Darlene Chapman, was a Sunday school teacher tied to the Assemblies of God USA. Behind this seemingly ordinary family life, Chapman has stated that his father was physically abusive, a shadow that would influence his turbulent youth. Chapman grew up with 3 siblings, Jolene, Michael, and Paula, and has claimed Native American heritage, but the strict household wasn't enough to contain him. By the age of 15, he had already run away from home and joined the Devil's Disciples, a notorious outlaw motorcycle club. This early rebellion set the stage for a life teetering between risk and notoriety. The night of September 15, 1976, was a turning point in Duane's life. At 23, he joined a group that included 22-year-old Donald Kuykendall, 17-year-old Cheryl Fisher, and 19-year-old Ruben Garza. The 4 armed themselves and drove to the home of 34-year-old Jerry Bowers Oliver, who was known locally for selling marijuana, and became the target of a robbery planned by the group. As the clock approached midnight, Kuykendall entered Oliver's home, while Duane, Fisher, and Garza waited outside. Within minutes, a shot rang out. Oliver was hit in the armpit with a sawed-off shotgun at close range. Though critically wounded, he managed to give police the names of those involved before dying in emergency surgery the next morning. Police quickly tracked Duane to his residence at 501 Roberta Street. Attempting to evade arrest, he fled through the back door, but was soon apprehended and taken to Gray County Jail. His bond was set at $10,000, a figure equivalent to $56,000 today. The other accomplices were also arrested, and witnesses testified that the group had discussed the robbery in advance, using racial slurs to refer to Oliver. On July 22, 1977, a jury of 7 men and 5 women found Duane, Kuykendall, and Garza guilty of murder. Even though Chapman hadn't fired the fatal shot, he had supplied Kuykendall with a shotgun and ammunition, which made him legally culpable. He received a 5-year prison sentence, but served only 18 months at the Texas State Penitentiary in Huntsville before being paroled. Chapman has recounted a transformative moment during his incarceration. In a 2007 Fox News interview, he revealed that he once tackled an inmate attempting to escape, saving him from being shot. A correction officer's congratulatory remark inspired Chapman to pursue a career in bounty hunting, the path that eventually made him a household name. However, Chapman's felony conviction left lasting consequences. He is prohibited from owning firearms and has even been denied entry into the United Kingdom from being a troubled teenager in an abusive household to an outlaw involved in murder and robbery. Chapman's early life reads like a thriller movie. People have often linked Duane to the capture of Andrew Luster, yet most are unaware of the details. How did it all unfold? Dog the Bounty Hunter's most daring capture. June 18, 2003 was the day that catapulted Duane "Dog" Chapman into international headlines. Chapman and his team achieved what few dared attempt, capturing Andrew Luster, heir to the Max Factor Cosmetics fortune, who had vanished from the United States in the midst of his trial. Luster faced staggering allegations, drugging and assaulting multiple women, and had already been convicted in absentia on 86 counts for assaults dating back to 1996, 1997, and 2000. Chapman's team was small but fearless. Alongside his son, Leland, and an associate, Tim Chapman, Dog tracked Luster to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, where the fugitive was living under an assumed identity. The capture was clean, but the aftermath was anything but simple. On their way to return Luster to the San Diego jail, Chapman and his team were stopped by Mexican authorities. In an instant, the hunters became the hunted dog, and Leland were arrested on suspicion of drug use, and all 4 men, including Luster, were jailed. Only after Mexican officials confirmed Luster's identity was he sent to California to serve a 125-year sentence, leaving Chapman and his team behind bars. Initially denied bail, the Chapman's fate seemed grim until Beth intervened. She rallied the media, igniting public opinion across the United States. The pressure worked. Dog, Leland, and Tim were granted bail. Yet freedom came with a catch. They became international bail jumpers by leaving Mexico without permission, a decision that haunted them for years. 3 years later, on September 14, 2006, just days before the statute of limitations expired, the trio was arrested again, this time by U.S. Marshals in Honolulu, acting on behalf of the Mexican government. The charge? Deprivation of liberty, a felony in Mexico, stemming from the 2003 capture. Because they hadn't secured permission to leave Mexico while out on bail, they were declared fugitives and faced possible extradition. After spending one night in a federal detention center, Dog described the experience to reporters. "The federal marshals treated us with great respect. But let me tell you, you never want to go to a federal prison because it's terrible." The following day, Chapman appeared shackled in a packed Honolulu courtroom. Though the judge ruled they weren't a significant flight risk, he required electronic monitoring devices. For all 3 men, bail was set at $300,000 for Dog and $100,000 each for Leland and Tim. Dog's attorney argued that while the Mexican charge was a misdemeanor, it could be misinterpreted as a felony under U.S. law, a claim Mexico dismissed outright. An extradition hearing was then scheduled for November 16, 2006. Dog speculated that his arrest was part of a prisoner exchange, claiming federal agents sold him out in exchange for a Mexican drug lord. Despite the ankle monitors, Chapman and his team continued to work. By October 2006, 29 Republican congressmen had sent an open letter to United States Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, asking her to block Dog's extradition. Around the same time, Mexican authorities issued an order halting the criminal case pending further evidence and witness testimony. Court proceedings dragged on through late 2006 into early 2007. On February 16, 2007, a Mexican federal court ruled there was no reason not to try Chapman for deprivation of liberty. U.S. politicians again intervened, introducing resolutions urging Mexico to drop the charges. Meanwhile, Dog continued to appear on national media, from Larry King Live to Fox News, keeping the story in the public eye. Finally, on August 2, 2007, the first criminal court in Puerto Vallarta dismissed all charges against Dog, Leland, and Tim, citing the statute of limitations. Although the prosecution appealed, the U.S. magistrate ruled on November 5, 2007, that the trio was no longer charged with any crimes. After years of uncertainty, Duane's daring capture and the legal firestorm that followed were officially behind him. But how did he go from hunting a wanted person and being an inmate to becoming famous? From bizarre jobs to international fame and controversy. After decades of chasing fugitives, Duane "Dog" Chapman's life took a turn that few could have predicted. His work caught the attention of the television series Take This Job, which spotlights people with unusual occupations. Duane's dangerous, adrenaline-filled life as a bounty hunter, tracking down criminals and bringing them to justice, became the focus of a spin-off episode. Following the Luster case, Chapman's profile skyrocketed. On August 28, 2003, he was interviewed for the True TV series Dominic Dunn's Power, Privilege, and Justice, further introducing the American public to the man behind the tough exterior. Producers saw the potential. Here was someone whose real-life drama, high-stakes captures, and colorful personality could anchor a reality series. By August 30th, 2004, Dog the Bounty Hunter debuted on A&E. The show ran for 8 seasons, turning Chapman and his family into household names, with a theme song performed by none other than Ozzy Osbourne. Viewers were drawn to the blend of family dynamics, dangerous bounty hunts, and Chapman's larger-than-life personality. But fame can be a double-edged sword. In early October 2007, Chapman faced intense public scrutiny after a private phone conversation with his son, Tucker, was obtained and sold to the National Enquirer. In the recording, Chapman made racially charged comments regarding Tucker's relationship with a black woman. He referred to Tucker's girlfriend using a racial slur and expressed his personal opposition to interracial relationships. Once the tape became public, the backlash was immediate and fierce. A&E suspended production of the show while launching an investigation, signaling the gravity of the situation. On October 31, 2007, Chapman issued a public apology, acknowledging that he should not have used the slur and stating that he had never been told by any black individual that his words were offensive. Despite this, the network announced on November 2, 2007, that Dog the Bounty Hunter would be removed from the schedule for the foreseeable future. The incident cast a long shadow over Chapman's public image, challenging the reputation he had carefully built through years of daring work and personal exposure on television. Shockingly, Duane later revealed that he still loves the son who betrayed him by selling the tape to the National Enquirer. "He will not talk to me," Dog admitted, tearfully, on CNN's Larry King Live. The fallout involved Tucker's mother, who Dog says was getting even after years apart. Dog's struggles with the family extend far beyond this one incident. Tucker, once imprisoned for armed robbery at 18, served 4 years of a 20-year sentence and was on parole at the time. Dog, a former convict himself, admitted he was trying to steer his son away from trouble and from a relationship he deemed risky. "I don't care if she is black at all," Dog clarified. "He's on parole, and if he messes up, he goes back." Despite the controversy, Dog's focus remained on expressing love. "All I want him to know is that I love him very much," he said, refusing to comment on reports that Tucker profited $15,000 from selling the tape. By February 19, 2008, A&E provided an update. Chapman had actively engaged with several African-American organizations to make amends, and production of the show was set to resume. Chapman sought to repair his image while maintaining his larger-than-life persona. In 2021, he again addressed the controversy in an interview with Entertainment Tonight host Kevin Frazier, denying claims of racism and defending his personal relationships, stating that he had more black friends than Eminem. Despite the controversy, Chapman's television career remained resilient, fueled by his charisma, his family's involvement, and his unparalleled reputation in the bounty hunting world. His shows captured not just the thrill of the chase, but also the highs and lows of family life, making audiences feel like they were part of Chapman's unpredictable, high-stakes world. By the time Dog the Bounty Hunter returned to production, Chapman had learned to navigate the complex intersection of fame and public perception. The show's fans remained loyal, drawn to the raw authenticity and high-stakes action that Chapman brought to every episode. His life, full of danger, family drama, and public controversy, would continue to fascinate audiences for years to come, proving that behind every headline lies a story more intense than fiction. Interestingly, Duane's controversies didn't stop there. So, what happened next? King of controversy. Few reality stars have lived a life as tumultuous and headline-grabbing as Duane. However, the man who hunted only fugitives had also found himself in the crosshairs of multiple controversies and legal battles, keeping audiences watching and questioning every move he makes. Chapman's controversies span decades, which began with the allegations of racism and the repeated use of racial slurs. Despite the backlash and the controversy that threatened Dog the Bounty Hunter, the show eventually returned. But that wasn't the end of the controversy. Years later, in 2021, the accusations resurfaced. Chapman's daughter, Bonnie, publicly accused him of racism and homophobia, claiming the use of racial slurs was common in their household. She alleged that Chapman had been fired from the streaming platform Unleashed TV for his conduct, and that she had been excluded from his wedding to Francie Frayne because of her support for the Black Lives Matter movement. However, Chapman and another daughter, Lissa, pushed back against Bonnie's claims, suggesting she was being influenced by bad people. Chapman's public controversies have extended beyond race. In 2022, he made headlines for his political comments at an evangelical Christian conference, referring to President Joe Biden as Little Hitler and making claims of voter fraud in the 2020 election. These statements added yet another layer to a life already scrutinized by fans and media alike. Chapman's legal history is equally complex and, in some ways, even more dramatic. His controversies even extended to business. He faced multiple lawsuits, including a $2,221,000 breach of contract suit over a canceled show, Dog Unleashed. The lawsuit alleged Chapman had engaged in racist and homophobic behavior and illegally possessed a taser, further fueling public fascination with his life. Amid all this, Chapman has navigated complicated family dynamics. He is the father to numerous children from 6 women, often embroiled in disputes over loyalty, public statements, and personal conflicts. His personal and professional controversies have intertwined, making it difficult for audiences to separate the man from the myth. With such a complicated relationship with his children, where are Duane Chapman's kids now, and what are they up to? Do they still keep in touch with their father? Duane Chapman's large family. Duane Chapman's children are scattered across decades. After splitting from his first wife, Darnell, Dog found love again with Ann Tegnell, whom he married in August 1979. Their joy was immediately tempered by tragedy. Their first son, Zebediah, was born in 1980 but passed away just 1 month later. The grief was unimaginable, yet life continued, and the couple went on to welcome sons, Wesley in 1980 and James Robert in 1982. Despite the growing family, the marriage eventually ended, leaving Wesley to be raised by his maternal grandparents. He eventually reconnected with his father later in life and now has 2 daughters, Chloe and Peyton, from a previous relationship. Wesley has carried forward his family legacy through meaningful work, founding the nonprofit The Human Project and running Chapman Springs Ranch with his wife, Jody. But the story didn't stop there. Dog's third marriage took a whirlwind turn when he met Lisa Ray Britton at a bar and married her just 2 days later in 1982. The ceremony, reportedly performed by a Native American chief in the Colorado mountains, marked the start of a new chapter. Together, they had 3 children, Barbara, Tucker, and Lissa Ray, born in 1982, 1983, and 1987. The family faced heartbreak once more when Barbara tragically died in a car crash in 2006 at just 23 years old, leaving behind her son, Travis. Lissa Ray later had daughters Abby May and Madeline, with ex-husband Bram Galanti. And in 2022, she married Layana Evanson, moving forward while carrying a complicated past. Dog's love story took a more stable turn with Beth Chapman, whom he married in 2006. The couple had 2 children together before their wedding, Bonnie Joanne, born in 1998, and Gary, born in 2001, and then officially tied the knot. The couple's bond faced its ultimate test when Beth passed away in June 2019 from complications of throat and lung cancer. Since then, Bonnie and Dog have navigated a rocky path, including disputes over fidelity that caused tension during Dog's 2021 marriage to Francie Fain. Dog also adopted Beth's daughter, Cecily, from her previous marriage, bringing her fully into the Chapman family fold. Even more shocking, in June 2023, Dog revealed he had just discovered another son, John, whose birthday coincided with the anniversary of Beth's passing. The revelation transformed a day of sorrow into one of hope. For the last 4 years, this day was a terrible reminder of one of the greatest losses of my life, Dog shared on Instagram. But God redeemed this day when I discovered my son John, whom I just met recently, was born on this day. So now, instead of sorrow, this day has a new meaning. This is my son John and his wife Jody. While the identity of John's mother remains private, Dog promises to share more in his 2024 memoir, 9 Lives and Counting. Despite Duane's life being a roller coaster of love, loss, and unexpected revelations, where is he today? Life after fame. Gone are the flashing lights of TV cameras and the chaos of Florida's headlines. Now, somewhere deep in Georgia, Dog and his wife, Francie Chapman, have started over. But why the sudden move? And what are they really up to? In mid-2025, Dog and Francie packed up their lives in Florida and left behind the place they once called home. It wasn't just another move. It felt like a reset. The couple had been open about their plans online, sharing glimpses of the transition through social media. By June 2025, they had officially settled somewhere south of Atlanta, though the exact location remains a mystery. Reports suggest it could be Henry County, but Dog hasn't confirmed a thing. It's as if the bounty hunter who once lived his life in the spotlight now prefers a quieter, more private world. Those close to him say he's not running from his past. He's building something new. Away from the noise and cameras, Dog and Francie have turned their focus to a cause that strikes close to their hearts. Their charity, the DOG Foundation. The name carries meaning far deeper than just his famous nickname. Standing for doing outreach with God, the foundation offers support and recovery services to victims of human trafficking, a dark and dangerous reality that Dog now wants to fight in a different way. Their mission is simple but powerful: to help survivors rebuild their lives after enduring unthinkable trauma. While Dog once hunted criminals across deserts and city streets, today he's helping people escape a different kind of captivity, one that steals their freedom. And Hope Francie, who shares his passion for outreach, has become the heart of the operation. Together, the couple has begun building connections in Georgia's local communities, attending events, and getting plugged in, as they describe it, to understand where their help is needed most. The couple's social media posts paint a picture of peace and purpose, a stark contrast to the chaos that once surrounded their lives. Fans who have followed Dog through decades of bounty hunting, family tragedy, and public controversy have noticed the change. His tone is softer. His posts carry more gratitude and faith than ever before. This is where God wants us to be, he's hinted online, sparking curiosity about what lies ahead. Dog's move to Georgia might have seemed sudden, but for those who've watched his journey, it makes sense. After losing his beloved wife Beth in 2019, enduring the heartbreak of family disputes, and navigating a lifetime of public scrutiny, the bounty hunter appears to have found something he's long been searching for: peace. Georgia, with its slower pace and strong faith-based communities, may be giving him the grounding he's needed all along. But make no mistake, even in this new chapter, Dog hasn't lost his edge. His instincts for justice are still there. They've just shifted from catching fugitives to rescuing victims. The DOG Foundation is his new mission field, and according to those who've seen him at work, his determination is as fierce as ever. For now, Dog and Francie are keeping their exact Georgia home under wraps. Somewhere south of Atlanta, they're living a quieter life, surrounded by purpose. Their foundation is growing, their roots are deepening, and their focus is more on faith and service. Could this quiet new life in Georgia mark the redemption chapter Dog has been searching for all along? Or is there something deeper behind his sudden move and renewed mission that fans are yet to uncover? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.